Hi, I'm Rob Magin, and this is Lori Magin. Lori handles all of our real estate sales, and I'm excited to show you a case study that will inspire you on your journey finding the ideal lot and building a new home. It all started with this Mediterranean new home plan. We designed this specifically to fit on a particular lot in the town of Somerset, and our real estate team found this lot specifically for our client, whose name is Jay. Our search took only 3 weeks to find the lot, design a new home, create detailed specifications for the new home, and calculate an exact price for the new home, including all site costs and utility costs and the cost of demolishing the existing home. Jay had been searching the same area without our help for almost a year and was getting no results. He wasn't even able to find a decent property, let alone obtain all the design and feasibility services we provide. Now, this new home plan was created in a similar fashion to the way we've created our portfolio of over 200 new home plans that fit perfectly into your neighborhoods in Bethesda, McLean, Chevy Chase, Arlington, and Washington, D.C. And here's my secret weapon. His name's Kevin. He's our award-winning staff architect who's been a key member of our team for over 10 years. Well, Kevin designed that Mediterranean-style home specifically for this particular homeowner and specifically for this particular lot in the town of Somerset. So let me give you a bit of a background story on how I met Jay. Well, the first time I spoke to Jay was about over maybe 2 years ago, and Jay heard about what we do from one of his friends, and he called me up and asked me what properties we had for sale in Bethesda or Chevy Chase that we could build a new home on. And at the time, Jay had already been working with someone else for several months to try to find another home, but so far he just wasn't having any luck. He'd been searching for an existing home, and he was pretty frustrated because he just couldn't find anything he liked. And that's the reality in this marketplace. It's very rare to find a property that meets your requirements exactly. So you really have to make that property, and you either make it by buying an existing home and renovating it to your specifications, or by buying an existing home, tearing it down, and building a new home. And many times, new homes have a large advantage over remodeling an existing home. For instance, there may be some potential tax benefits with a new home. There's plenty of financing alternatives for a new home. Right now, construction perm loans are around 3.5%. And new homes may be a better investment than remodeling an existing home. Anyhow, back to Jay. I could tell he was really frustrated because the person supposedly helping him find another home was just showing him the same properties he could find himself on the internet. So now Jay was considering building a new home from scratch, and he wanted to know what properties our real estate team had available for sale. And he wanted to know how we work. So I explained to Jay that if you work with our real estate team, Lori, who handles all the sales, that he'd get access to a list of properties that we're targeting to acquire as developers. These are properties that probably weren't on Zillow, probably not on Trulia, and probably not on Redfin. Also, he'd save 2 or 3% in fees, or in his case, it was about $45,000, and we'd waive our engineering, design, and estimating fees as we lay out the different new homes on the different lots that he's targeting. Well, Jay said he liked our approach, but he was a bit hesitant to sever his relationship with the person he'd been working with up until this time. He said he'd think about it. He said he'd talk to his wife. And in the meantime, I said our team would let him know of any new properties as they become public. Well, a few months went by, and I hadn't heard from Jay, and then one day he called me again, asking the same question. What lots did I have that we could build a new home on in Bethesda or Chevy Chase? He sounded a bit more frustrated than the last time we spoke. He told me that he hadn't found anything he liked after searching for almost a year now. And he commented there really wasn't much inventory out there. And I was thinking to myself, we have no problem with good inventory of really desirable properties in Bethesda, Chevy Chase, Arlington, McLean, Washington, D.C. This time I suggested he stop by our open house our real estate team was putting on near Whitman in Bethesda that coming Sunday, and I'd be happy to chat with him for a few minutes. When he came by that Sunday, we ended up chatting for over an hour. I asked him more questions, and from his replies I could tell that he never even thought of some of the issues I was asking him about. It sounded like since he'd been looking, he hadn't made any real progress at all. And the questions I was asking were real critical questions, and from my 25 years plus of doing this, I could tell he was really not being served by whoever was helping him. I could also tell that he was gaining a better insight as to what he wanted and what his requirements were for the new home just from our conversation. And then he got nothing else. If he got nothing else from our meeting, at least he gained more clarity on what he wanted and how he could make his search more efficient. Then I explained how we work, that he'd have to retain our real estate team and it wouldn't cost him anything out of pocket, and he'd have to work exclusively with the real estate team. So he went home and told me he'd think about it and talk it over with his wife. So another few months went by, and then finally in the beginning of November, actually it was November 4th to be exact, I remember this because my 10-year-old daughter broke her arm that day for the second time in less than 4 months. Now, don't call protective services on me. She was just doing backflips. Anyhow, Jay and I agreed to work together that day. So our real estate team took over, and they took him through a proprietary process, and we were able to pinpoint his precise lot requirements. We created a concept custom home plan that he loved. We created detailed specifications, and we calculated an exact price on his dream home. This took about 2 weeks. That's all, just 2 weeks. Also, over the first 2 weeks, we showed him 3 properties that met his lot requirements exactly. One was already on the market and 2 others weren't. But we knew the properties were available for sale. Our real estate team, headed by Lori, placed offers on 2 of these properties. Neither offer panned out. Then by the 3rd week, our real estate team showed him a property in the town of Somerset, and we settled on the purchase of it within 60 days. And a few days after he settled on the property, we submitted permit applications for building a new home. All this happened within 4 months from the start of our relationship. So we found the property, we created home plans he loved, detailed specifications, an exact home price, we calculated utility costs, site costs, we arranged a construction perm loan, he settled on the property, and we submitted building plans for a new home. Anyway, that was a long introduction, and now let me walk you through this cool new Mediterranean home plan we designed specifically for the exact requirements of the family and the exact characteristics of the lot.